Here on the Professional Edge, we're talking about is now the time to pivot. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner, host of the Professional Edge, and we're talking about is now the time to pivot. Pivot means to actually change direction to get a different result, because if we do the same thing and expect a different result, that's sort of chaos, right? Or being an idiot. So we don't want to be an idiot. We want to, pivot and do something different. So when we do something different, we want a different result. Number one, if you eat some grapes versus Doritos, then you're probably going to lose some weight. If you get up and walk around and not go as soon as dinner's over and go hit the sofa and watch 3 hours of TV, but you actually pick up a book, don't turn the TV on for 2 weeks. Think about that for a second. Don't watch TV after dinner for 2 weeks. Read a book. When was the last time you read a book? That's a pivot, and that will change your result. So with that in mind, you got to say, all right, what am I going to pivot on in my financial side? Well, we can pivot on your financial side by actually evaluating where you are risk-wise, because we've seen a dramatic run in certain things, and an over-concentration in one thing could lead to excess risk within your portfolio. We've seen Tesla stock, I'm not going to pick on them, but the real return has been 9 times over this past year. So you got to step back and say, okay, what mutual funds do I own Tesla in, or did I buy Tesla directly in my portfolio? And how will that impact me if this drops by 50%? So those are things you need to ask yourself. Do I need to pivot away from my winners, got to sell some winners and buy some losers? Sounds counterintuitive, right? But that rebalances the risk in your portfolio, and that's a way to pivot because you're doing an objective analysis on your computer or on your portfolio. So the way you pivot as well with your investments is you may be doing this all on your own. And you dial the 1-800 number, or on your smartphone, you go to your account, you look at it, you see, wow, magic, things are growing, my account's doing well. But do you actually understand what you're doing? The risk, the alpha, the beta, those things really matter when things are not all rising. So again, we had a change in the administration. Is this a time to actually pivot and not just work with a 1-800 number that holds your money and you think you're the maven of Wall Street, but to actually have a plan, a direction to consistently rebalance and reallocate the risk within your portfolio? If not, you want to have an interview, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number, 877-654-9798. And it's not just about the investment rate of return, it's the risk you're getting for the allocation that you have within that portfolio. So that risk reward continuum. The other thing, as a 55-year-old listener here on the Professional Edge, it's also time to evaluate whether you're on track for retirement. Even a 30-year-old listener to the Professional Edge, it's not too early to start. How much do you need to put away now to get to your magic number? We can do that with financial planning software. Come back and say, well, you need to contribute 12% of your 401k, and you need to make a $6,000 contribution to your Roth IRA, and you need to add another $100 to your savings account or your investment account each and every month, and then you'll hit your goal. You know what? Most of our listeners have never done that calculation, but it's available. That's a pivot. Are you going to, get serious about what you're doing, or are you going to continue to go along and not change things? So again, a pivot is you're getting close to retirement or you're in retirement. Now we're pivoting from having a paycheck to now having our portfolio generate our retirement income. That's a huge pivot. And a lot of our listeners are only going to retire once. They never want to go back to work once they retire. So they're pivoting, and the accumulation in your portfolio is different from your distribution strategy. So again, you're making that pivot down here in Columbus. GPN, Global Payment, came in and bought TSYS. Now it is Global Payments. And a lot of individuals are accepting these early out packages, and that's a pivot. That's a change in your career. And when you pivot, you might be getting a year's severance. You might get extra bonus pay, things like that. You have the stock. You have a large concentration. Is that too much? Well, it all depends on your risk profile and how you need to pivot once you go away from being employed. So again, if you're one of those individuals who have received that severance package and you sort of trying to figure out there's a lot of things in the air. Where am I going to pay for health care? How am I going to roll over my 401k? Should I roll over my 401k? I see the things on TV all the time. I think I can do it myself. Well, I'm not sure that 1-800 number is going to give you tax advice. Not sure they're going to give you liability protection advice. And what level of tax planning are they going to do? Because there might be an NUA ability to circumvent a whole bunch of taxes. And that's something, being a tax attorney at CPA, that we do that analysis and see if an NUA election makes financial sense. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So again, those are the things that we do at estate management counselors. Easiest way to look at that is a conversation to have. They're all confidential. And working out of Atlanta, the individuals here in Columbus don't know your business. I don't hang out at the country club. I don't go to the same establishments. And being in a small town, yeah, Columbus is growing in dramatic proportions. But again, if you want that someone out of town not knowing everyone's business, then do give us a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. So on to pivoting. You have decided to retire in a year or two. Well, that's a pivot. Now we're going to change from the accumulation, the growth part of the portfolio, to the distribution. Should you elect Social Security at 62, or should you wait until full retirement age, or should you even postpone it to age 70 or even later than that? You've got to run the financial model to see which one makes the most financial sense. Then we also look and say, okay, does it make sense to tap your after-tax savings, or should you tap your IRA savings, being your 401k that you're going to roll over to your IRA, or should you continue to work 3 more years past the 2 years in which you thought you're going to be able to retire? Well, once you do the financial analysis, then that will tell you what that safe and secure retirement is going to look like, or do you need to work another 1 or 2 years? So again, it's a wake-up call. It's a pivot. It is getting your flight plan in order, your risk in order, your portfolio in order, and your liability protection and your estate plan. So again, to put these all together, we at Estate Management Counselors, for our listeners here on the Professional Edge, have put together what we call the bundle. And to get the details on that, do go and visit emcthebundle.com. That is Echo Mary Charlie, emcthebundle.com. It's a great deal. Again, I guarantee the service in which we provide to individuals. So again, it's a way to pivot on what you're currently doing. We've had that change in the administration. The Senate is now Democratic. Congress is Democratic, and we're going to see what these first 100 days are going to bring us. We have one of the largest stimulus packages coming down. It's almost $2 trillion. And I challenge you as a listener here on the Professional Edge to actually go out and Google that. What does $1 billion look like? And you'll see these little images of the stacks of hundreds of dollars of bills, these pallets of hundreds of dollars of bills. And when you think about that, $1 billion, all right, we got to go to $1 trillion. So that's 1,000 billions. So multiply that picture by 1,000 times. That's $1 trillion. Now, you got to do it 2 times for the amount of money that's being put out into the system through the stimulus package that Congress and President Biden is going to try and push through. So again, the administration has pivoted. So does that impact you? The answer is yes. And is there different sectors, again, as this COVID crisis continues, If you were in commercial real estate, you are feeling the impact, or you're going to feel the impact when these leases come up for renewal. That's at least our theory. A lot of individuals are going to realize that they don't need this much office space anymore. So they're going to pivot because the individuals are now working remotely from home. Thank goodness the infrastructure is here to support all this internet communication back and forth and Zoom calls. So that's going to pivot, and now this commercial real estate, instead of requiring 40,000 square foot of space, they can do it with 4,000 square foot of space. So now they don't have that rent expense. They don't have all the administration expenses, putting all the desks in the office. Think about that. That's a huge savings. Then we have the heat bill and the electric bill. So again, companies are pivoting. So you as an individual listener here on the Professional Edge, you have to pivot as well because things are changing. How is this going to impact you if this continues for another year, another 18 months? Think of the hospitality industry or the convention space. They've had to pivot, and now think of the music industry. They are not putting on concerts for the whole part of 2020. Now we're going into 2021, and the quote concert series is not even going to be developed because I don't think we're going to be going to these large venues of 20,000 people to watch. We've seen college sports pivot. We've seen the professional sports pivot. So again, you got to change things if things change before you. And if you don't, then you are going to pay the price of that. So again, it's a wake-up call to pivot, and the best way to do that is give our office a call at 877-654-9798, 877-654-9798. So my name's Todd. I'm a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner, host here on the Professional Edge. And now is the time to pivot? I think it is, because there's too many things out here which are that have changed. Your life has changed. Kids aren't going to school. They're on Zoom anymore. What about the grandkids? College education might be a little bit different because a lot of colleges are doing Zoom classes. So again, everyone's pivoting. We're having to change. Now, different sectors inside the investment environment is changing as well. So again, to start the conversation, if you like what you hear, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. Be sure to check out emcthebundle.com. That is Echo Mary Charlie thebundle.com. emcthebundle.com. Thanks for listening to the Professional Edge. Again, is now the time to pivot? I think so.
We've all thought about it. Everyone listening will need one. Not having one can cause untold heartache, family conflict escalating to the point of a lawsuit. One simple thing that avoids all that: an effective estate plan. As a practicing tax attorney, Todd with Estate Management Counselors has completed over 1,000 estate plans during his 15 years of professional practice. He can help you implement an effective estate plan, coordinate your financial accounts, and make sure you have named the proper beneficiaries to maximize your tax savings. Call 877-654-9798 today and let tax attorney Todd help you implement an effective estate plan. Call 877-654-9798 today. As a tax attorney, CPA, for over 15 years, Todd has implemented over 1,000 individual estate plans. He has recently authored an especially helpful guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan. This guide has helped many individuals to understand the benefits of an estate plan and how to avoid unintended disasters. has made every attempt to write this in plain English. To receive this valuable guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan, call 1-877-654-9798 and request your complimentary copy today, or by emailing your request to info@emcadvisors.net.